Before I start this video, I want to tell you something right up front. This is going to be a long video, probably about 30 minutes or so. And I know in today's world, I may have already lost half the people who just clicked on it just by saying that. But I'm going to ask you to stay, not because I'm promising you the next 30 minutes are going to change your life. I cannot promise that to you. I don't even know if they'll change your mind. But I can tell you this, the things I'm about to talk about change the way I look at myself as a husband, a father, a friend, a brother, and as an American citizen. These things made me uncomfortable. They made me question some things. And probably most importantly, they made me question myself. Because I was already starting to realize that maybe I was spending way too much time looking at what somebody else and everyone else was doing, and not enough time asking, David, what the heck are you doing? That question hurt, but I needed to ask it because while I was frustrated about things happening around me, sometimes I wasn't doing a dang thing to understand them, much less change them. And that realization, that uncomfortable conversation I had with the man staring back at me in the mirror is part of what eventually gave birth to Dawnbreak 777. Not because I suddenly had all the answers. Oh no, almost the complete opposite. I started realizing how many questions I had never bothered to ask, how many things I complained about within myself without completely understanding them, how many times I accepted somebody else's explanation because it was easier than doing any research myself, and how much valuable time had I given to things that when I really thought about it didn't matter nearly as much as the things sitting right in front of me. My wife, my family, friends, community, my home, my finances, my rights, my responsibilities, my country, my faith. And I realized something. Maybe this channel shouldn't be about telling people what to think. Maybe it should be about encouraging people, including myself, to start thinking once again, to question, to research, listen, learn, and admit when we're wrong, to change when the evidence tells us we should, and maybe to help each other wake up just a little bit more. That's where this came from. So maybe this video changes your outlook, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you disagree with half of what I have to say, and that's okay, because I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm asking you to give yourself enough time to think about it. So yes, this one's long, and I'm going to ask you for something that apparently has become incredibly valuable in America, 30 minutes of your attention. And before you tell yourself, I don't have 30 minutes, I want you to think about something. We can sit and watch what the Kardashians are doing for over an hour. We can spend an hour listening to a podcast about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. We can watch a 3-hour football game, and if it goes in overtime, we will even stay another 30 minutes to see the outcome. Folks, we can get on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or whatever social media platform we're using and argue with a complete stranger we've never even met about some nonsensical crap for hours on end. We'll type, they'll type. We get mad, they get mad. We'll go to bed and lose sleep thinking about what they said. We'll wake up the next morning, grab the phone, and just to see if that stranger responded. It's funny, we sure have time for all that, but then somebody says, here's 30 minutes about your rights, your taxes, property, your government, your freedom, your family, and the responsibility that come with being an American citizen, and suddenly that statement is, can you make it into a 30-second short? Think about that. I'm not pointing my finger at you. For the love of Pete, I'm guilty of it too. We've created a society where everything has to happen right now. Give me the headline, give me the clip, give me the meme. Give me 15 seconds. Tell me who is the good guy. Tell me who is the bad guy. Tell me what I'm supposed to think, and hurry up because I got another video waiting underneath this one. But sometimes things in life cannot be understood in 30 seconds. Your mortgage didn't take 30 seconds. Your marriage isn't 30 seconds. Raising a child isn't 30 seconds. Building a career isn't 30 seconds. Serving your community and understanding the freedoms we've inherited isn't 30 freaking seconds either. So I'm asking you for 30 minutes, not for me and not for this channel, and certainly not because I think I have all the answers. I'm asking you to give 30 minutes of yourself to your home, your family, to your community, to your freedom, and to the country we're going to hand off to the people who come after us, our children and grandchildren. Because if we can give celebrities an hour, sports 3 hours, and complete strangers on social media half of our dang evening, surely we can give 30 minutes to understanding our responsibility as American citizens. But there's something else about this that bothers me. And I'm not saying this from some high horse, because what I'm about to say, I'm saying it to myself too. In fact, my own guilt about some of this is part of what eventually became Dawn Break 777. Think about how much of our lives we spend emotionally invested in people we've never even met. We know who's dating who's getting divorced, who's fighting with who, what somebody wore, what somebody said, what celebrity offended another celebrity. Heck, we even worry about when our favorite podcaster gets doxxed and has to be moved to a safer location for their family. We follow their problems. We know their stories. Sometimes we know so much about celebrities and online personalities, it almost feels like they're our best friends. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with entertainment. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with sports. I'm definitely not saying that we shouldn't care about when something bad happens to another human being. Of course we should. I'm asking something different. How much of ourselves are we giving away? Because while we're consuming everybody else's life, look what's happening in our own. Families are sitting around kitchen tables trying to figure out how they're going to make everything work. Food costs more, fuel costs more, insurance costs more, housing costs more, property taxes have increased, government expenses eventually have to be paid by somebody, and for many ordinary families, that somebody always feels like us. We work, and when the paycheck comes in, before we can even take a breath, mortgage, utilities, insurance, groceries, fuel, taxes, credit cards, medical bills, whatever else life throws at us, pay it, pay it, pay it. And some families finally reach the bottom of that list, looking at the bank account, and there's almost nothing left, maybe a few bucks. And we sit there wondering, how on earth am I working this hard and still falling behind? That's the real question. That's something worth investigating and understanding. That's something worth 30 minutes of our attention. But what happens next? Ding! The phone lights up and suddenly we're off again. Look at what this person said. Look at what that person's wearing. Can you believe what happened over here? Look at this outrage. Look at that controversy. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Argue, scroll. Get angry, scroll. And meanwhile, the kitchen table is still sitting there with bills piled high. Our communities are still making decisions. Government is still spending money. Our children are still growing up. Our spouses are still sitting beside us. Our parents are getting older, and the clock, it's still moving. That's the part that scares me, because our attention may be one of the most valuable things we possess, and we're giving enormous pieces of it away. Now, do I believe every stupid video on the internet is a part of some giant coordinated plan to distract everybody? No. I don't need to make that claim. The result is enough for me to think about it. We are distracted. Whether somebody deliberately created every distraction or whether algorithms simply learn the outrage that keeps our thumbs moving, the effect on our lives can look the exact same. We're watching everybody else while failing to watch what's happening right in front of us. And maybe that's one of the reasons we're so damn angry. We're financially exhausted. We're emotionally exhausted. We're politically exhausted. We're fighting strangers we've never even met, while the people we love are sitting right next to us, less than 10 feet away. And that is where this becomes even bigger than taxes, bigger than the government, bigger than politics. Because what happens if we keep doing this? We can lose our financial security. We can lose our homes. We can lose things we spent our lives building. We can lose confidence in our communities. We can lose the ability to talk to one another. And worst of all, we can lose our families while sitting right next to them. That should bother every one of us, because I know it bothers me. I'm not immune to any of this. I've wasted time. I've gotten distracted. I paid attention to things that didn't deserve half of what I gave it. I've complained about things without doing the work necessary to understand why I'm even complaining about them. And eventually, I had to look at myself and ask, David, what the hell are you doing about it? That question hurt, but it also changed something. Folks, guilt can do one of two things. It can make us sit around feeling ashamed, or it can make us change. For me, that realization became part of why this channel exists. I don't want to spend the rest of my life simply telling people what's wrong. I want to understand things. I want to research them. I want to explain what I've learned in a way that it can be understood. I want people to challenge me. I want people to investigate things for themselves. And most importantly, I would love for us to start paying attention to our own lives once again. Our homes, our money, our communities, our rights, our children, our spouses, neighbors, the republic. Folks, maybe we don't have an attention shortage. Think about that. We can find hours when something entertains us, angers us, frightens us, or gives us something to fight people over. Maybe the problem isn't that we don't have enough attention. Maybe we've just forgotten where to spend that attention. And if that makes you a little uncomfortable, good. It makes me uncomfortable too. This isn't an accusation, it's a mirror. And I'm standing in front of that dang mirror with you. So what do we do about it? Well, imagine I hand you a shovel. There's a piece of ground in front of you, and somewhere underneath that ground is something incredibly valuable. You know it's there. You believe it's there. You stand there all day holding that shovel, leaning on it. You talk about the hole. You complain about how hard the ground is. You complain and state that somebody should be digging it. You even pray and wish the hole just opens up. But sooner or later, somebody has to put that shovel into the ground because the hole isn't going to dig itself. There's a reason the Bible teaches us faith without works is dead. Faith matters to me deeply. Prayer matters to me deeply. But faith isn't an excuse for doing nothing. Prayer isn't a substitute for responsibility. Sometimes after we say amen, we have to stand up, grab the shovel, and get to work. And I think that same principle applies to something else I love very deeply. This country. We talk constantly about our rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to peacefully assemble, the right to petition our government, the right to vote, due process, representation. But the question I've been asking myself is, what good is having those rights if we're unwilling to exercise them? Think about your home. You worked for it, you maintain it, you insure it, you mow the lawn, you replace the roof like I'm doing. And before you go to bed, you probably lock the front door. Why? It's not because you believe everybody walking down the streets are criminal. You lock it because something valuable deserves to be protected. That's not paranoia, that's responsibility. Well, freedom is valuable too. And freedom needs somebody watching the front door. And that is us, we the people. But hang on. There's another group of Americans that I want to talk about just for a second. There is an extremely small percentage of this country's population that voluntarily raises their right hand and swears an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And that is our military. Think about that oath. Those men and women don't swear an oath to a president. They don't swear an oath to a political party. They swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Some have sacrificed years away from their family. Some have sacrificed their health. And throughout our history, some of them have given the ultimate sacrifice. Something important I've come to understand with all this: defending this republic is never supposed to be the responsibility of the military alone. The military defends our nation, but those men and women cannot maintain our republic for us. That's not their job alone. That's our job. Every one of us, and that responsibility goes all the way back to the beginning. Our founding fathers didn't simply just sit around a table, write some beautiful words, and go home. Those words required work, debate, sacrifice, compromise, courage. They argued with one another. They disagreed, sometimes fiercely, but from those disagreements came extraordinary ideas. That human beings possess rights, that government derives its authority from consent of the governed, that power should be divided, that government must have limits, and that people themselves have a responsibility in keeping this experiment alive. There's a famous story from the end of the Constitutional Convention in 1787. Benjamin Franklin was leaving the Independence Hall when he was asked what kind of government they had created. His famous answer was this: a republic if you can keep it. Think about that, especially those last few words, if you can keep it. Franklin didn't say a republic, we're finished. He didn't say a republic, someone else will take care of it. He didn't say a republic that will maintain itself forever. He said a republic if you can keep it. There was work attached to that gift, folks. There is a great responsibility attached to that freedom, a shovel attached to that hole. Maybe that's something we forgot, because the founders could write the Declaration of Independence, create the Constitution, and establish the Bill of Rights. They could build the framework, but they couldn't maintain it for us. They can't attend our council meetings. They can't read our school district budgets. They can't examine our property taxes. They can't question our county commissioners. They can't research our bonds, and they can't vote in our elections. That's our job. Every generation inherits that responsibility. And I think there's another thing that we need to understand. You'll constantly hear people refer to the United States simply as a democracy. Yes, democratic participation is absolutely a part of this system. We vote, we elect representatives. The people have a voice, but the United States was constituted as a republic, a constitutional federal republic where we, the people, exercise political power largely through representatives we elect, under a constitution designed to divide and limit governmental power and protect individual rights. And there's something incredibly important about that, because your fundamental rights aren't supposed to just disappear because 51% of your neighbors don't like what you have to say. Neither should mine. That's why those constitutional protections matter. But there's a catch. A republic requires something from its citizens: participation. But somewhere along the way, I think a lot of us just became spectators. And yes, I include myself in that. We work, we raise families, we pay bills, we take care of our homes. We're tired. We come home at the end of the day and we sit on the couch just wanting a little peace. I understand that, folks. But then the tax bill comes, property valuation changes, there's another bond, another development, or another governmental decision that we didn't know anything about. And we ask, when did that happen? Many times the answer is sitting right there in a public meeting agenda nobody read. Think about that. The information may have been available. The meeting may have been public. The documents may have been sitting online. But if nobody looks, it's like having a security camera on your house that nobody ever checks. The camera isn't protecting anything if nobody is paying attention to it. And that's where I believe ordinary people have tremendous power. Not angry power, not threatening power, not Republican or Democratic power. The power is attention, because attention creates accountability. Imagine owning a little family business. You've got employees, you've got an inventory, you've got bills, you got a bank account. Would you hand somebody the checkbook and say, here you go, spend whatever you think is appropriate. I'll check back in 20 years or so? Of course you wouldn't. Not because you automatically think the person is dishonest. You check the books because that's what responsible ownership looks like. Well, we're paying into something considerably larger than a small family business. We're paying taxes, property taxes, sales taxes, income taxes, fees, assessments, and bonds that can be paid over many years. That's our money moving through our public institutions. So asking where it goes isn't disrespectful, it's citizenship. And paying attention can make waste even harder. It can make abuse harder. It can make fraud harder. It can expose mistakes before they become bigger mistakes. Sometimes our research might show that something we were angry about was completely legitimate. That's valuable too, because knowledge can replace suspicion. Understanding can replace anger, which is what I'm trying to do with this channel. I'm learning, I'm reading, I'm digging, I'm looking at the taxes, bonds, property values, public records, meeting minutes, budgets, development, water, decisions being made in the communities where we actually live. And then I'm taking what I learned and explaining it in plain English. Sometimes that means taking something buried deep inside pages of the government documents and finding an example we can all understand. Government shouldn't require a crackerjack secret decoder ring for ordinary citizens to understand what's being done in their name. Folks, I'm not asking you to believe me. Please don't. I'm asking you to think. I'm asking you to research. I'm asking you to challenge me. If I misunderstood something, I'm asking you to show me. We'll learn together, because I don't want people simply repeating what I say. I'd much rather help create citizens who know how to find the answers themselves. Look at investigators like Nick Shirley and others who decide to get up from behind the keyboard to look at things themselves, ask questions, and document what they found. There's a lesson there that has nothing to do with political parties. You see, somebody picked up the shovel, and that's what I'm trying to encourage locally. You don't need a television network. You don't need thousands of followers. You don't need a law degree. You don't need to be wealthy, and you don't need to be a politician. You're already qualified. You're a citizen. Start small. Find out when your city council meeting meets. Read one agenda. Look at one budget. Take your property tax statement and actually learn what every line means. When there's a bond on your ballot, read it. When somebody gives you a number, including me, verify it. Ask respectful questions. And when something doesn't make sense, keep digging until it does, because maybe the greatest protection against waste, fraud, and abuse isn't another person screaming about government on social media. It's something much simpler: an informed citizen, then another, and another, and another. Imagine what happens when a city council meeting that normally has only a couple of citizens attending suddenly has 60. Not 60 angry people, 60 informed people. People who have read the agenda, people who know the numbers, people who respectfully ask good questions, people who listen to the answers, people willing to change their minds when evidence changes, and people willing to keep asking questions when something doesn't make sense. Folks, that's not rebellion, that's not hostility, that's not bullying, that's self-government. Maybe we need to rediscover it, because America doesn't need more hatred. God knows we have enough of that. We don't need another reason to hate our neighbor. We don't need another label. We don't need another person screaming, "Pick a side!" Because the side we need to pick is each other, our communities, our neighbors, our children, our grandchildren, and the freedoms entrusted to every generation of the Americans that the Founding Fathers set forth. And that brings it right back to where we started: prayer. I pray for this country. I pray for its leaders. I pray for the communities. I pray for our children. I pray that somehow we can find our way back to treating one another like human beings instead of political enemies. But when I finish praying, I can't expect God to do my work for me. Faith without works is dead. Maybe sometimes the answer to our prayer is the strength that God gives us to get up and do something, to serve, to help, to learn, to participate, to love our neighbor, to speak up respectfully, to listen respectfully, and when necessary, to pick up that shovel. Think about Franklin again. A republic if you can keep it. More than 2 centuries later, that sentence is still hanging there. It's still a challenge. It's still addressed to the same people, us. Franklin's generation did their work. The generations after them did theirs. Generation after generation of Americans have raised their right hands and served to protect what those documents created. But the question today isn't what they did. The question is, what are we willing to do? Because the Founding Fathers put extraordinary ideas onto paper, but paper can't protect itself. A shovel can't dig by itself. A Bible sitting unopened on the shelf can't live your faith for you. And a Constitution sitting behind glass can't participate in government for you. We have to do the work, not with hatred, not with threats, not with violence, not by bullying somebody who thinks differently than we do, but with knowledge, with courage, with compassion, with faith, and most importantly, with love for the people who are standing beside us, even when we disagree. So I'm going to keep digging. I'm going to keep researching. I'm going to keep asking questions. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to learn. And whenever I find something worth sharing, I'll bring it here. Then you take it from there. Research it, challenge it, teach somebody else, attend one meeting, read one document, ask one question, pick up a shovel. Freedom is something that every generation has to maintain together. We the people, 3 simple words. but maybe 3 of the greatest responsibilities ever handed to ordinary human beings. A republic, if we can keep it. But before I go, I'm going to ask you something that I've never asked to do before. If something I said today made you think, made you look at something differently, or inspired you in some way to pick up your own shovel, leave me one word in the comments below. Freedom. I'll read those comments. I'll do my absolute best to respond to every single one of them. I'll answer all of you if I can. And if you know somebody who might get something from this message, don't just hit the button and forget about it. Send it to them. Pass the message along. Maybe it starts a conversation. Maybe it inspires somebody else to start asking questions. Maybe somebody else picks up a shovel. And friends, that's how this starts, one person at a time. Please know, I love each and every one of you. May God bless you all, and may God bless these United States of America. Remember, folks, pick up the shovel. We must do better.